Good morning, students. Today's class is about ankylosis spondylitis. So here the word ankylosis means fusion, and the word spondyle, or you can say spondylitis, means inflammation of the vertebrae. This is a non-rheumatoid inflammatory arthritis. Let's see the introduction. So, in non-rheumatoid inflammatory arthritis in which the joints of the spine, particularly the lower back, become inflamed and painful. Inflammation causes new bone to grow, fuses the vertebrae together, and restricts the flexibility and movement. So we all know that in between the vertebrae that there is a disc that allows the flexible movement of the vertebrae. So whenever there is inflammation, or you can say due to any of the reason, whether it can be accident, whether it can be infection, so this disc get displaced, or you can say they get infused together. So the distance between the disc, you can say the distance between the vertebrae is removed, and due to that there is the restriction in the movement. That is called ankylosis spondylitis. See in the diagram, it is showing normal spine where there is normal space between the disc. Then you can see the second one in which there is inflammation. This red is inflammation. When there is infection, you can find the inflammation. Then slowly they start infusing. That is, the gap between the vertebrae starts coming, you can say it starts becoming narrower, and then the discs get infused together, and when they get infused together, there is no space between the vertebrae and there is no possible flexion. This is called ankylosis spondylitis. Then see the definition. Ankylosing spondylitis is a chronic systemic inflammatory disease of the axial skeleton with variable involvement of peripheral joints and non-articular structures. Then ankylosing spondylitis is one of the seronegative spondyloarthropathies and has a strong genetic predisposition. It mainly affects joints in the spine and the sacroiliac joint in the pelvis. In severe cases, complete fusion and rigidity of the spine can occur. So it mainly occurs in the vertebrae, then also in the spine and sacroiliac regions. So whenever there is a complete fusion in the severe cases, so that the person cannot move himself when there is complete rigidity of the body. So let's see the etiology. In the main cause is unknown, that is idiopathic. Then you can say there is more chances of the patient to get it from genetic, that is to get it from parents. Then other reasons can be bacteria, that is Klebsiella pneumoniae and some other enterobacteria. So the three main etiologies are, the main one is unknown, and second one is genetic predisposition, and the third one is bacteria. Then come to risk factors. The risk factors are age. It happens when the age gradually increases, mainly in the old age, or you can say developing adult age. Then sex, it affects mostly men compared to women. So men are having more chances of getting this disease. Then persons having family history of ankylosing spondylitis. Obviously, when the person is having family history, so he has more chances of getting the same disease. Then infections and smoking. Then now let's see the symptoms, how you will find the symptoms. Here the symptoms are mainly divided into two categories, that is early and then late. So in early symptoms you'll be seeing pain in sacroiliac and lower back region. So mainly in the sacrovertebral last portion, that is sacroiliac and lower back regions, you will be finding the pain. Then you will be seeing the buttock pain. Due to the sacroiliac pain, the pain will be radiating to buttocks, and you will be finding difficulty in sitting and moving somewhere. Then the next you will be seeing the lower back stiffness. There will be stiffness, that means you will be finding difficulty in moving your lower back. Then chest pain will be there. Then you can see stiffness and tenderness of back muscles. So mainly it is related to your back, so the most symptoms will be related to your vertebra regions. Then you will be seeing flattening of the lumbar lordosis, then bilateral sacroiliitis. These are the early symptoms you are going to notice. Then except that, you'll be seeing enthesopathies. In this, pain in the site of the ligamentous attachment to bone. So wherever there is attachment to the bone, you will be finding the pain. That is iliac crest, trochanter's, spinous processes of vertebrae, and costovertebral joints. So wherever there is attachment of the bones together, you'll be finding the pain. Then you will be having extra articular manifestations, usually eyes affections, then bilateral acute onset, late for 2 to 3 months. So these are some extra you can see. Then for the late symptoms, so you can say advanced symptoms, you'll be having pain in different segments of spine. That is, in early symptoms you were seeing only in the lower back regions, that is sacroiliac. Then in the advanced symptoms or in the late symptoms, you'll be seeing in the different spines portions you'll be having pain. Then question mark posture. Question mark posture is like bent position of the body. The person will be in bent condition. That is called question mark posture. Then atrophy of back muscles. Then decreased thorax excursion. Then decreased articulations in spine. Ankylosis of sacroiliac and intervertebral joints. Then cutaneous lesions that are identical to postular psoriasis. So, and then you will be seeing cardiovascular symptoms involvement, that is the aortic insufficiency, pericarditis, myocarditis. Then bronchopulmonary system involvement, that is respiratory system, you will be seeing fibrosis of apical lung segments. Then urinary system involvement, you will be seeing amyloidosis, IgA nephropathy. Then gastrointestinal system involvement, you will be seeing ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. These are the symptoms you'll be seeing, that is early and late symptoms in the patients. Then in diagnosis, we will be seeing first one is history collection. In history, you'll be saying taking the family history, who has a history of this disease. Then you can go for physical examination. In physical examination, mainly you'll be going for the question mark posture. Then except that, you'll be having the blood test. In blood test, you'll be seeing for HLA-B27 gene, that is from the genetic predisposition. Then you'll be going for the X-ray. Then we will be having tomography and magnetic resonance imaging of the sacroiliac joints. Then you will be having Schober's test, which usually used for clinical measures of flexion of the lumbar spine, performed during examination. You will be asking the person to bend himself. Then we will be going for the medications column. In medications, it was mainly divided into 3 major types of medication. The first one is anti-inflammatory drugs, that includes NSAID drugs, that are aspirin, ibuprofen, phenylbutazone, indomethacin, naproxen, and COX-2 inhibitors, reduce inflammation and consistently pain. So mainly these are due to symptomatic treatments. We are administering these drugs to the patient to reduce the inflammation and pain. Then we will go for DMARDs, that is cyclosporin, methotrexate, sulfasalazine, and corticosteroids. These are also for reducing the you can say it is for reducing the inflammation plus infection, used to reduce the immune system response to immunosuppressants. Then you will go for the TNFA alpha blockers, antagonists, which will block the functions such as etanercept, then infliximab and adalimumab, also known as biologics, indicate for the treatment of and are effective in immunosuppressants in AS, that is alkalosis spondylitis, as in other autoimmune diseases. These are the medications you are going to give to the patients. Then we come to the surgical management. May include osteotomy for marked deformities of the hip or spine. Then occasionally hip or knee arthroplasty is used if there is severe arthritis of the joints. So these are the 2 surgical managements for the patient. Then we come to the nursing responsibilities in nursing management. Educate about the nature of the disease. It is must that we should educate the patient what is actually the disease is. Then baseline ROM include chest expansion should be advised. ROM is range of motion, so you should explain to the patient the basic exercises. Then you can go for the pain should be managed by appropriate medications, heat massage, and gently exercise. So you should try all possible ways to provide comfort to the patient, mainly in pain reduction. Then excessive physical exertion during periods of active inflammation should be discouraged. So you should not allow patient to move here and there actively when there is more inflammation and pain present. Then you can go for the next. Proper positioning at rest is essential. You should provide proper positioning to the patient. The mattresses should be firm and pillows must be avoided. The patient should sleep on the back and avoid positions that encourage flexion deformity. So these all positions, mattress should be taken care by the sister in charge. Then you can go for the Postural training emphasizes avoiding flexion, heavy lifting, and prolonged walking, standing, or sitting. So these all trainings are given to the patient to avoid pain and to provide comfortable position. That's all for the today's class. In today's class, we have seen the definition, that is inflammation of the spinal areas, that is non-rheumatoid arthritis, inflammatory disorder. Then we have seen the definition, etiology, risk factors, symptoms and symptoms. We have seen the early symptoms and late symptoms. We have seen the clinical manifestations, diagnosis. After that we have seen the medication, surgical management, nursing management. That's all for the today's class. Thank you to all the students.